The Hawkeye game is over, but the conversation is about to begin. It's time for the Black and Gold Rush with Travis and Ross.
Disappointment all around as the Iowa Hawkeyes lose to USC 26-21, the final, in a second half non-performance and a lot of penalties. Just ugly second half after a brilliant first half. Welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for dialing us in. If you're watching on YouTube today, give a subscription to this channel, give the video a like, and of course, you can leave your comments in the comment section. And speaking of comments, you can give us a call at 515-517-2303. Ross Peterson, man, oh man. First half, we were all excited. You had the razzle-dazzle, as you said on X. It was beautiful.
That was fun. That was the highlight of the day right there, man.
It was the highlight of the day.
Dude, you know what sucks right now is it's more than just the disappointment of this loss. It is the disappointment of the hope and hype that I felt after playing Oregon so close. The hope and hype that I felt after looking back at this season and realizing, man, you were a play away from beating Indiana. You're a play away from beating Oregon. The Iowa State game is the last-second field goal, and it's an in-state rivalry, and it's a four-loss team. This is a four-loss team. And that is not the hope and hype that I had coming out of Oregon. There are no moral victories from today. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, and I see a lot of people in the comment section already kind of blaming officials and missed calls. Man, guys, that is the low-hanging fruit, and I hate doing that. You're right. Did they miss calls today? Did they miss a blatant face mask that caused the Hawks into that third down that led to the interception? Yes, and yes. Did they miss a bunch of holds? Yes, they did. The officials were bad today. There's no getting around that. The Hawkeyes didn't do their job. The Hawkeyes didn't. They played. Travis, you just said it. It's an emotionless second half. What was the highlight of the second half for the Hawkeyes? Caden Weechen almost pulling in a catch?
Yeah. I mean, Iowa had 44 yards of total offense in the third quarter. USC had 180. Iowa penalized five times. 5 times in the third quarter. You can't let that happen.
I'm not going to put this on the officials. The officials sucked.
I'm just saying
today. Yeah, I know you're not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, frustrating, man. What I'm feeling today is a 180 from what I felt after last week's loss. I really did start the show last week thinking, oh, gee, they're not as bad as I thought. Oh, gee, we only lose by a couple points to really good teams. USC isn't great. That's not a great team that we lost to today.
And you know what Iowa isn't? It isn't a great team.
Not a great team, Trav. And we're going to have conversations about what this Big Ten looks like going forward. And man, that's the frustrating part, is that that team today looks like a team that's going to be a middle of the road Big Ten team. The team that lost to Indiana, the team that lost to Oregon, I could lie to myself. I could walk out of those games and lie to myself and say, oh, you know what? They're not as shitty as I think they are. And today's game, that second half, after what you after the start that you had, defense again for another week. The defense is not good enough to live with an offense like that. So tough, man. Today I feel 180 degrees different than what I did last Saturday after the same result, same loss. Same one possession game that you can look at and go, oh, it's a top 25 team. That's a good Big Ten team. Yeah, but we're not.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Scott. Scott, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on? Scott, are you there?
Uh-oh.
I tested it right before we went on the air, too, so this is not good because I got a lot of people lined up. Hold on real quick. I'm going to drop Scott. Scott, call back. Let's see if this one works. If not, I'll reconnect. 515-517-2303. Andrew, are you there? Are you fucking kidding me? I literally tested it right before I went on the air. Unbelievable. You pontificate. I'm going to do this, okay?
Man,
I'm going to try to reconnect.
Listen, and pontificate I can, because this Hawkeye team has frustrated me today. Mark Gronowski in that first half has a couple of passes. In that first drive, really, has a couple of plays that are some of the best throws we've seen. Now, obviously, the touchdown pass is not a deep throw, but man, even getting to that point, I loved the play call. I loved them lining up, looking like they're going to do the tush push, and then actually running a play out of that. And I even thought, as they lined up for that first tush push on the third down play, I thought to myself, man, they telegraphed this thing. Gronowski gets under there with that one leg back. They really telegraph when they're going to do this tush push. They've got to figure out something to do with that. And then they had it ready to go. They had that play. And Gronowski's long pass to get it down there. That's a second-level throw where you're looking downfield, and a good throw. Those were two really nice plays where you start off and go, holy cow, look at this. Hawkeyes are moving the ball well. I hear somebody there. So, yeah, whatever you did there, that worked.
515-517-2303. Who's this? Hello. You're there. You're calling about jail. I hear you. What's going on, man?
Am I on now?
Yeah. No, you're on, man.
Oh, no. I was just calling. This defense, we got the guys. Is it the play calling or what? Why can't we stop anybody at the end of the game?
Can I ask you, what's your name, sir? I'm sorry.
Oh, Joe.
Joe, what makes you say we got the guys?
Well, we got the line. The linebackers are kind of iffy. We got the corners. We got Wampa. But for some reason, I don't know, is it bad luck or just bad timing that somebody's off on almost every big play that goes against us?
That's why I wondered, Joe. I don't know, and I watched the game too much as a fan, and we've talked about this a lot over the years, man. I watched the game way too much as a fan, and I almost have to watch it a second time, knowing the outcome, in order to remove the emotion from it, because I don't know. I don't know if what we saw today. I don't think it was USC's speed. I mean, we've seen wide receivers have days like this.
We've seen better receivers go against us, and we can sometimes hold them, sometimes not. I don't know if it gets in the guys' heads or I don't know.
Well,
but
when it comes to the receivers,
what's holding.
When it comes to the receivers, there's one thing I noticed. It is speed a little bit, but it's also athleticism, and it's also about an inch or two in height. Yeah. I mean, if you look at USC's receivers, they make big plays. They can get in one-on-one situations, and Maeva can throw it up there and rely on his guys to go and make a big play. Iowa had a hard time stopping that. That comes down to athleticism, comes down a little bit of speed, comes down to a little height. And they've got guys that can make plays in tough coverage. I thought Iowa played, even on some of those tough catches, I thought the defense was good. You just had some really, really good catches.
The defense was right. Yeah, just like last week at that passing or against Oregon. Yeah, I mean, they had them covered great, but these quarterbacks, our guys, I don't know. After these last couple of weeks, it's like, what the hell is going on?
We're with you, Joe. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the call.
Thanks for getting us started, buddy.
515-517-2303. Let's go up to, I believe, Mankato. What's going on?
This is Scott, and the reason I'm calling is this is the first year of that I can recall that we haven't had any defensive end play. These 4 games that have been heartbreakers, we've always been able to count on a sack, make a defensive, as far as putting pressure on, to allow for us to make that big late-game interception or fumble. We also don't have any linebackers that can make a play. Why recruit 4-star? Buffington hasn't got any action, either as Weisskopf or Reeves, and why has not Espinosa got anything? Herkett hasn't made one play all year. He would not be playing on any other Big Ten team. Now, to say we keep being a developmental program, that was fine when we were playing in the Big Ten West. Those days are over. We need to buck it up and get to play the competition that we are. And it's all fine and dandy to say we are a developmental program, but developmental program is great for the pros that are making it. but not for our college kids. No longer 2-3 stars. Developmental programs makes it in today's playoff world.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, man. Go ahead.
You know what I think about the developmental program, and we fall into it, right? Every program is a developmental program. Every program, you have to develop players. No, Alabama has to develop players. Oregon has to develop players. Ohio State has to develop players. When you get on campus, you have to develop players. I know what he's saying about in the Iowa aspect, but every program is a developmental player. You either have better players, you don't have better players. And I think the lingering one here, Ross, why it may sting even more is this. Iowa's now lost 11 straight games to ranked teams. 11 straight games to ranked teams. So we can be happy one week, we can happy the other, but the truth is we want to win big games. We want to win games that matter. You can beat all the patsies that you want. When it matters the most, when you're playing ranked teams, you got to beat them. And that's the measuring stick. The measuring stick is against ranked teams, and they've lost 11 straight against ranked teams.
Scott said the words, new Big Ten. In this new Big Ten, what are the Hawkeyes? Right now, what are the Hawkeyes in this new Big Ten? They're an also-ran. This conversation they're having in the beginning of the game about how, well, one of these teams is going to stay in the playoff hunt. What? First of all, no, they're not. No, they're not. Playing for 4th in the Big Ten. 5th in the Big Ten. It's frustrating, Travis, what you're saying. That's part of the ingredient that adds to this sting tonight. Is losing to another ranked team. It just feels so average. It feels so, congratulations. Get to go to some crappy bowl game again. And not, again, this one feels so different than last week. Last week was the week that it all fell apart. Last week was the week that with 1:50 to play, you had a chance at that college football playoff. That wasn't the case today. Why am I feeling so angry about this one?
Because
why does this one feel so much more like a loss?
Because that's exactly what it is. And watching it as a fan, watching it with emotion, you kind of look at it and go, oh, we had the wool pulled over our eyes last week. Sure, it was a great game. We felt good. We justified it in our brain because they were ranked 8th, 9th in the country. You look at USC, well, they're only 17th. And then when you jump up and you're up 14 points at halftime and you look maybe offensively the best you've looked all year, and you're like, this is the team that I've wanted to see. And then you absolutely crumble in the second half. And you're like, nothing changes. And it's the realization, Ross, that you're just average. You're just average.
That's what it is.
And you
won't be ranked next week.
No.
4-loss team. Don't deserve to be ranked, I don't think. And it's easy to go back and say, well, you lost to 3 ranked teams in Iowa State. No. You've lost those talking points, I feel like. Even with a couple of wins against Michigan State and Nebraska. It is just tonight was frustrating. And I didn't think I was going to have this reaction. Really didn't. I didn't think that losing to USC at USC, because we talked all week about how going west is tough. Going west has always been tough for these Big Ten teams. Going west and playing a team like USC that's got a lot of speed, that's got a lot of, we found out, dude, they've still got some stink in their backside from Hawkeye comments in the past, from Kirk Ferentz saying, well, yeah, they decided to play defense over there. They played defense better than us today. That the comment at the end of the game when the announcer said, we talked to Lincoln Riley and we said, hey, does it still bother you that there's this thing out there that USC can't play Big Ten football? And he said, yeah. Yeah, it does. Well, they played Big Ten football today.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Andrew. Andrew, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, I was going to make a comment, on what Ross just said about, USC playing Big Ten football. I think part of the problem is Iowa and a lot of these Big Ten West teams, we can't play offense like a lot of these teams on the West Coast. I mean, the first half, yeah, we look good, but typical Kirk Ferentz fashion, we get a lead and then we just sit on it and we do not try and move the ball like we should. We do not utilize the tight ends that we have. I mean, we've got a great tight end program. We're tight end university, and we just do not utilize the talent that we have. And granted, I get we're not like a top 5 program where we have talent everywhere, but we could get back to utilizing tight ends and at least, throwing past the sticks, trying to get some first downs. But it seems like when we get a lead, we're just way too comfortable just trying to sit on it.
I think that's a fair comment, Andrew. I mean, Hawks are up 14 today. Did you hear the stat when the last time the Hawkeyes lost a game when they were up 14?
2020 against Northwestern was the last time they'd blown a 14-point lead.
And I saw a stat on the TV that was like we're like what 80-something and 4 or 80-something and 5 when we have a 14-point lead.
I actually wrote that down. It is 83 and 5. Now 83 and 6 when you have a 14-point lead.
Like that just, and I think something else that's really hurt us these last couple of games. We have made a lot of errors. I mean, we've had too many penalties, and then last week against Oregon, we had 2 really bad snaps to the punter. I mean, we've made a lot of critical errors in special teams that really aren't typical of what you see of an Iowa football team.
Andrew,
Yeah, good call. You're absolutely right. The Hawkeyes haven't played offense like a West Coast team, like one of these West Coast teams in a long time. And the hope is always, well, yeah, we don't play offense like them, but they don't play defense like us. They've learned. They've got the speed. They've got the skill players. And then when you compound that talent gap by making those mistakes today, little mistakes that were made, the fumble and the turnover, the fumble and the interception, I call it a turnover because I hate to call it an interception the way it bounces off ricochets around. But those turnovers, that just makes it even more evident. And, man, I don't know. This one didn't feel as close as it was. Watching that second half unfold, watching USC, what they scored 19 straight. Travis, is that what it was?
Well, they outscored them 26-7 at the 9-minute mark of the second quarter. So
when you see that, that's when it didn't feel as close as it was. Weegen catches that ball in bounds, and we might be having a little bit of a different conversation.
True.
Hawks don't have that. They stop on that when USC got the ball with 2 minutes to play. If they make a stop there, if you don't get that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, maybe things turn around and maybe it just didn't feel like that. It didn't feel close. It felt like this one slipped through the Hawkeyes' hands in a way that normally we don't see it happen. That's what
I'm gonna ask you. I did a live shot on Twitter at halftime, and I said one of the things was don't go old Kirk Ferentz and get conservative in the second half. Did you think they got conservative in the second half, or did they? Because it didn't feel. It feel like with the turnover, with the penalties, with everything, it didn't feel like they just got in a flow. I don't know if they got conservative in the play calling, but I didn't feel that they got into a flow.
They never got into a flow, dude. You're absolutely right about that. There was never that feeling like you got in those first, especially that first drive with the Hawks. Yeah. Again, you get that big play, man. You get the big play, the razzle dazzle for the Philly special that leads to the Gronowski touchdown. Again, what in the second half do you remember that felt like, okay, here we go. This is Hawkeye football. This is what we've been waiting for. This is something to get excited about. I don't remember anything. And I might be missing something, but, man, I don't remember a play in that second half that I went, all right, here we go. Now it's time. Now the ball's rolling our way.
You know, the crazy thing is, and we really have two games here. First half, we could have done a show at halftime, and we would have had a completely different show at halftime compared to what we're doing right now. Third quarter was the difference, though. SC ran up 180 yards of total offense. Iowa just had 44 yards of offense in the third quarter. Exactly. Yes. Yep. Now, and another crazy stat, in the fourth quarter, Iowa had 64 yards of total offense. SC only had 24 yards of total offense and just 6 yards rushing. That fourth quarter just kind of flew by, but neither team could really make anything happen. Yeah. A stat that really stands out to me, and I brought this stat up at halftime, Ross, Iowa was 3 of 5 on third downs in the first half. And you're like, okay, that's really good. They ended up 4 of 10. So they were only 1 of 5 on third down in the second half. We're not able to convert on third down.
does that mean that they were playing more conservative? I mean, again, I'd have to go back and look at how those third downs played out, but it did seem like they were third and longs. I mean, I'm just kind of running through several of them in my head. I remember going backwards in my head on that last drive. That's a third and on 2nd and 9. You run the ball right to end up with the third and long.
515-517.
You don't move the ball. That ends up with the 4th down play that you have to chuck it down the field.
2303. Let's go to Tom in North Liberty. Tom, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
Well, I'm just leaving the Coliseum, and that was, probably one of the crappiest second halves of Iowa football I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We're going to let you go off.
We got you, buddy. How was that? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Ross. What
I was just going to ask you about that first half and that feeling inside of the Coliseum. First of all, good job making the trek out there. Fun first half. Got off to a nice start. Had to have felt good. What was the feeling like in the first half?
Feeling great in the first half. A lot of Hawk fans high-fiving, slapping each other on the back. It was a good time. But, it's just, again, like, what are we doing out there? Let me say this. I love Phil Parker. But, man, I saw one blitz today. That quarterback's not great. I get that he can run, but we got to get home. You got to blitz him. You can't just be sitting in your base defense rushing 4 guys and you're not getting home and letting him pick you apart, right? And I'm going to tell you something about Mark Gronowski. I like the kid, but this is what I want you to think about. He's just Deacon Hill with legs, right? He doesn't throw the ball well. He misses wide open receivers. He skips the ball into the freaking dirt. It drives me insane. Insane, right? Like, at some point, this passing game's got to get better. I mean, I like Lester a lot, but the passing game's got to get better. I will say this for the Coliseum. The Coliseum, great place to watch a football game. Not a lot of people there. USC fans were pretty quiet till the end, and then on the way back to the car, they want to chirp like they're going to win the national title. But, I guess that's how it goes out here.
That's how it goes,
but,
right? That's
anyway,
sports.
Yeah. So, anyway, well, hey, we're rolling back to Phoenix and flying home tomorrow. It was a good trip with me and little Tom and my man Dan Callahan in charge and his son Tyler. We had a great time out here, and I'll get with you boys after we're done beating up on the Fighting Dick Vitals of Detroit Mercy next weekend.
All right. See you, Tom. Travel safe, buddy.
All right.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Rod. Rod, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on, Rod?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about the officiating in the second half. I thought it was honestly one of the worst officiated second halves that I have ever seen, and I thought Iowa got completely screwed out of that game. First of all, let's talk about the face mask, a blatant face mask on Kamari Moulton that everybody in the stadium and everybody at home saw, but somehow the official didn't see on the field. That would have given us a first down. Instead, we're facing 3rd and 5. We have to, try to convert a 3rd and 5. Don't end up converting it. Next thing we know, USC is going down the field and scoring.
Yeah, that led to the interception. That was right. That was the play right before the interception, Rod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then let's talk about the fact that if you're watching at home, I swear there were multiple times during the second half where USC was egregiously holding our guys on the edge, and it was not getting called. I'm not a guy who usually notices holding when I'm watching the game at home, but in this game it was really bad. And they were obvious. They were not getting called at all. Those are big plays, especially in a one-score game.
Well, finally, you know what I thought? Hold on real quick while you're talking about that. And I go back and forth on holding, right? I mean, you're right. Holding's one of those that it's all where the arms are, and I agree that there were some that could have been called. The one that I thought, the face mask was a brutal miss. And I don't care if they thought he was pulling up or not. The out-of-bounds late hit, that was a late hit. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Was it a Weejan return?
Yes, it was a Weejan return. Yeah. And I'm like, he blatantly hit him as he was 2 yards out of bounds. I don't care if it was a love tap. It was a good. It always go through my brain. If I was on the other side, would I feel the same way? And the answer is yes. I'm like, because I've seen calls on that for a lot less, and I'm like, you've got to throw the flag there. He hit him when he was out of bounds, and he knew he was out of bounds. So, go ahead.
Sorry, Travis. I was just about to say, well, great minds think alike, because you jumped in, you cut me off right before I was about to get to the late hit on Weegan out of bounds. Because I mean, I don't know what the rule is. All I know is that I watched that and I was like, well, yeah, he was hit. It was out of bounds. An official saw it. He threw the flag. I mean, is the rule that if it's only a love tap and he tried to pull up, then they can pick the flag up? I don't know the exact rule, but to me, in my world, that was utter BS.
Yeah, I was screaming at the officials. They're like, oh, with the field conditions and it's slippery out there. And I'm like, all you have to do is watch the replay. And they originally called a flag. And then the guy was right there. You could see him go, no. And I'm like, go look at it. He hit him as he was out of bounds by 2 yards. You can't do that. So the face mask and that were the two most blatant ones that I thought were. But I kind of agree with Ross here. We can bitch about the officials I don't think the officials made the difference in this game.
So that's where we're going to have to agree to disagree, because I feel like those were major points in the game, and this was a 5-point, one-score game, and I almost feel like that was so bad in this half, especially with some of the holding calls, which were you could see them on the TV. I usually don't notice them. I'm just watching it at home, but when one of our guys is like about to get around the edge to the quarterback, and they're grabbing him and like pulling him out of position so he can't get to the quarterback, those are game-changing plays. And it almost felt like, yeah, the Big Ten's trying to set up the big SC versus Oregon, top 15 matchup for next weekend. And I don't know, it's games like this that almost make you question the integrity of college football.
Wow, I don't know if I'd go that deep.
Rod, I love the passion. I love the fandom. This is where you and I will agree to disagree. I want to put a lot more blame on the offense not making plays in the second half, the defense not making plays in the second half, the coaching staff not making adjustments in the second half. Every game, you can look through a fan's eyes and blame the officials. Every game, you can find holding calls that weren't called. You can find, questionable late hits on the side. That again, Weegan, I don't even know if he went down when he got hit with that. Maybe he did. It's not the calls that affected this game. Those 15 yards that they would have given the Hawkeyes wouldn't have made a difference on that drive. They wouldn't have made a difference. So I haven't blamed the officials on a game in years. Your first comment, Rod, is absolutely, the officiating was bad today. The officiating was bad today. You can look at most contests and blame the officials for something, especially when you're on the losing end of it, man. You can go back and go, well, this call and this call and this call, and they add up. And you're right, there were some holding calls that don't get called. That's every game. There's a late call. The face mask to me is the most egregious because it literally spun the dude in a.
Yes.
Was that Patterson, who, by the way, ran the ball really well today, Trav? Every time he touched the ball, I thought, man, he's running the ball really hard today. I don't remember if it was Moulton or Patterson that had that the face. I think it was Moulton. Now that I
thought it was Moulton. Because
all
I know is when your face mask stays in place and your head goes a completely different direction, that's a face mask.
I'm not going to blame the officials. I'm not going to do that. Was the officiating bad? Yes. Is it the reason the Hawkeyes lost today? No. The reason the Hawkeyes lost today was because they got up 14 points. They started to play conservative. They started to rest on their laurels a little bit. They didn't make any adjustments in the second half. They got out-coached at halftime to the end of the game, from halftime to the end of the game. That's why they lost. The defense wasn't good enough today. The offensive line had some injuries, and the offense just couldn't move the ball and find that momentum like they did in the first half. That's why the Hawkeyes lost today. And that sucks, man. When you're a Hawkeye fan, it sucks to look in the mirror and go, it was the team. It was the team. I like what Joe said earlier. Is it the players? It's something. It wasn't the officials. The officials were bad today. It's not the reason they lost. Thanks for the call, Rod.
Thanks, Rod. Appreciate it.
And I do. Rob said something in the chat about, he said, man, Pat really nailed it on the broadcast. I didn't get to hear Gary and Pat today. So, Rob, if you could call in and try to paraphrase or at least kind of give us an idea of what it was that Pat Angerer said during the broadcast, because I didn't get to hear that at all today. I moved from Dad had a little gathering, and then I came home at halftime, and I didn't get to hear any of the play-by-play from those two guys today.
515-517-2303. The phone lines are open. We'll be hanging out with you till maybe 7:30. But we want you to chime in. Let us know what you think, what you thought of today's game. We've got a lot of thoughts. Our thoughts will keep going. We're going to take a minute, 25-second timeout, and we'll be back right after this on the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios.
Bad gift giving. It happens to the best of us.
Thanks, I think.
But what if I told you there's a better way? Toss the silly socks and ditch the mediocre mugs, because the Iowa Lottery's gift that keeps on winning is here to save the holidays. Give your loved ones holiday scratch tickets with the chance to win instantly or unwrap your share of $1 million. Say no, no, no to boring presents with the Iowa Lottery this holiday season. Woohoo! Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
My name's Gary Presnell, and I'm a residential home mortgage banker for Northwest Bank in Des Moines Metro Market. I've been financing people's homes for over 25 years, and I'm an expert in financing VA loans, FHA loans, IFA loans, and new construction homes. This is my cat Norm. Norm knows football, but he doesn't know mortgage, and that's where I come in. There are a lot of Tom, Dick, and Norms out there doing loans. So don't just trust anyone with your home loan. I'm your local, trusted, experienced expert.
Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You like listening to Travis and Ross talk about the Hawkeyes, so tune in when they talk about everything else. Listen to The Rush with Travis and Ross every day on therushradio.com, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and wherever you get your sports content.
Welcome back to the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery Studios. Gut punch today, man. A gut punch. As Iowa loses at USC, its second straight loss. Now 6-4 on the season. 2 games to play. Michigan State and Nebraska left on the docket. Could be that Iowa ends up a 7-win team. Could be that Iowa wins up an 8-win team, or it could be Iowa ends up a 6-win team. Because the truth is, Ross, I thought Iowa, much like you, was better than maybe they really are. Because they play Indiana tough. They play Oregon tough. They play USC tough. But then you go, okay, the common theme here is you're just losing to ranked teams, and you're not showing me anything else besides that, well, you can play with them, but you can't close them. I need closers. Always be closing. ABC, always be closing.
Eli writes in, he says, I think people are forgetting that UFC averages over 500 yards per game.
So what?
And 40 points per game. The defense did okay today. But the defense didn't make the stops when they needed them to make the stops. And quite frankly, that's a rinse and repeat from last week with Oregon, where you need the defense to make a play. It's not the defense's fault that the offense for decades has left them in that position, where the defense has to make plays to win, but that's what it is. And when the defense doesn't make plays, it's okay to say, man, the defense isn't making the plays that need to be played either. Let's go back to Tim Lester and some of the play calling here, because Tom Downs wrote into me and he said, why 3 runs that in that last drive, 3 straight runs that lead to that 4th and 6 on the last drive? 3 straight runs, and they were Patterson, and Williams. Where's Moulton on that? How do you not give it? And that leads to that 4th and 6, and then you end up having to throw that ball down the field to Weechin that ends up with his toe. Man, a game of inches, right?
And he was out of bounds.
He's out of bounds. There's that's not the official's fault. It's not the official's fault. The officials impacted the game. The officials did not decide this game, and that's, I think, the where I'll land on the officials. The play calling is frustrating. The play calling there were a couple of very Iowa-esque plays. 3rd and 9, and you're running the ball. You're setting yourself up for failure with a lot of those drives. So just frustrating. The missed face mask is the one that Hawkeye fans are going to have the hardest time getting around, Travis, because it's such an egregious face mask, and it leads to that interception. But again, the missed face mask does not cause the interception. It just is adjacent to it. My cousin is listening, and he's a big Wisconsin fan. He's actually driving through town. He's not listening anymore because he just pulled in for some food. He said, I was listening a bit, couldn't handle the whiting compared to all that we're going through in Wisconsin. So I guess, we could have that perspective. It's not as bad. It's not as bad as it could be, but you nailed it, dude. It's living short of that expectation that we had.
Gronowski was 6 of 9 in the first quarter. He was 3 of 3 in the second quarter. So 9 of 12 in the first half, with 112 yards passing. In the third quarter, he had 14 yards passing. In the fourth quarter, he had 11 yards passing. So you have over 100 yards passing in the first half. They mixed it up, and that was the difference, Ross.
Wait, did you say 14 yards in the third quarter and 11 yards in the fourth quarter?
In the fourth quarter. And I think that was the difference. In the first half, the Iowa offense had USC guessing, meaning they didn't know if they were going to pass it, they didn't know if they were going to run. They had it so well mixed up that USC didn't know. The RPO was another example of why Gronowski was able to run so well. They weren't going to commit to a running back because they didn't know if Gronowski was going to have the ball. They were all over the place. Lincoln Riley either made some really good adjustments in the second at halftime, or Iowa just got a lot more conservative. But the passing game went away. It was a decent passing game in the first half, over 100 yards, but you have 25 yards of passing in the second half. That's not going to get it done. You're going to have to score. You're going to have to score. You're going to have to move the ball.
You want to know why you're losing the game? There it is. That's it.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Andrew. Andrew, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
Hey, I know I called in just a little bit ago, but something else I kind of thought about. Our defense is pretty much designed to stop the run and play Big Ten West teams. We're not playing Big Ten West teams anymore. The Big Ten West is gone. What do we need to do to be able to play in these games and stop those explosive plays? Because it seems like anytime we've played a really good team, the explosive plays have really, really burned us. We played Michigan a few years ago. We played against Oregon. There's been a lot of explosive plays that we've given up. And what do we need to do to kind of correct and maybe change our thinking about how we play defense, especially in this modern Big Ten era?
That's a really good question.
Bend but don't break doesn't cut it anymore. Not against offenses that can. It's a cliche.
That's the cliche, right, of that team. But what does that mean? What that means is you have played the same sort of base defense for a long time. And you've always kind of had that the Hawkeyes have always kind of had that Vince Lombardi attitude of, hey, we're going to tell you what we're going to do, and you got to beat it. We're going to play a base defense. We're going to play in man. We're going to put our corners out on an island. We're going to put the safeties back there. We're going to put pressure on you with the defensive line, and the linebackers are going to be dogs. And if you can come out and you can dink and dunk and you can stay within your own game, you can beat the Hawkeye defense, and that's the way it was. But now you're right, Andrew. The game has changed. This goes back to those very first comments we were talking about. Like, the Big Ten's different. It's different. You don't have Michigan State and Purdue and Illinois on the roster anymore. Now you've got Oregon and USC. And those two teams those West Coast teams do show up with a little bit more talent, and they do show up with a little bit of a bigger playbook. What can you do to stop those big plays from happening? Do the Hawkeyes change their defense? Not under Kirk Ferentz. They don't.
No, not under Kirk Ferentz. Andrew, thanks for the phone call, man. Appreciate it calling back. 515-517-2303. Let's go to TJ in Spencer. TJ, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
Well, it's not all bad. I mean, the Hawkeyes covered the 6.5, so we shouldn't be all doom and gloom, am I right?
Look at you finding the silver lining, sir.
Somebody put money on the Hawkeyes to cover.
Yeah. And somebody just cashed in their bet at the casino, baby. Let's go. But I think we need a little more new school thinking, and here's what I mean. You remember the end of the first half we get the ball we get a first down with 17 seconds left with 2 timeouts, and we don't call a timeout? Like, what are you doing? You need like 15 yards for a field goal. You have 2 timeouts. You're being aggressive, and you don't call a timeout. Like, what are you doing? And another one, you remember that that throw that was to Vanderzee that was off target, by the way. Martin played really well in the second half. But it bounced up and it went back to Xavier Williams, and he caught it for a first down. That play is close. We got to have like a call that like fire, fire, fire. That's it. When they hear fire or whatever, that means they get to the line and run quarterback sneak or eye right belly or something. We just don't have that new school thinking, and Kirk's just he needs someone to take over like those sort of things, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know about the TJ on the specific. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I don't know about the specifics of that play. If racing to the line and trying to get one off would have worked or not. I mean, that replay happened pretty quick, and instantly the USC players were trying to point out that ball hit the ground, obviously to them. So I think that one probably would have. But I think your overall point is right. I really do, and I think that. That new approach that you're talking about even goes back to that clock management thing that we've talked about. Kirk Ferentz clock management has been a bugaboo for a long time. The situations exactly like what you're talking about there at the end of the first half, where it just feels like, I don't know what the words are to put on it, because I really respect Kirk Ferentz. I think he's a really smart football mind, but man, there's no urgency. There's no want, desire to move the ball down the field when you've got those short opportunities. Somewhere along the line, Kirk Ferentz got burned on those, and he felt like, man, trying to make those big plays. And it's happened even when the Hawkeyes have tried it here in the last couple of years, we've seen moments like that. You try to make something big happen, and that big oops is waiting for you. What you just nailed it, man. It is there's got to be some sort of new school thought that comes into play here, because I think that conversation even goes back to the last caller that Andrew was talking about with the defense. What needs to happen so that these things so that we can get over this hump? Last week we had this conversation about how close we were, right? Man, we're so close. What are the little things that need to change to get over that hump? This week it doesn't feel close.
Why is that? Why? I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Because the game wasn't. Because that's what. Because the second half wasn't close, Travis. I think that's why we're feeling this way. When you look back on this game, there are.
Could it be lack of adjustments?
I think that's a part of it, TJ. Yeah.
Could it be? I think so too, and we're like, are we too stuck in our ways? Like new school guys like Dan Lanning, who the hell is the guy at Indiana? I can't even remember his name. Signetti and Lincoln Riley. Are they making adjustments? And when we're up at halftime, 21-10, it's harder to adjust when you're down 11 or I can't remember what the score was against Oregon. But are we not adjusting? We're just thinking like, just keep status quo. And you saw it last year against Iowa State. Our safeties were playing too far in the box to take away the dig routes and the shallows and stuff. But then they see that, and then they hit us deep for a touchdown because they're doing a film study and we're not adjusting, it seems. My opinion.
I think those are all fair, TJ. I think that's a fair opinion, man. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Thanks, TJ. Hey, I do have one question for you.
I love the show, guys.
Hey, thank you. I got one question for you. Would you have been happier losing the bet if Iowa would have won? I'm just curious.
Well, I had plus 6.5, so I was good anyway. But when they went down 25-21, when they went down 25-21 and USC got the ball and they got a touchdown, it would have been a bad night to be a Busch Light. It would have been a bad night to be a Busch Light, boys. That shit would have sucked. Especially being up 21-7. I'm up 20.5 points at 21-7. Come on.
TJ just brings something. Thanks a lot.
Can I ask you guys a question? Can I ask you guys one more question?
Absolutely. Fire away.
Okay. All right. So I got to get your guys' opinion. Before the season, I took Iowa. I put $500 on Iowa over 7.5 wins. Okay. I think they're going to roll Michigan State next week. I think ? Okay. So let's just say they beat Michigan State next week to get to 7-4. I got to hedge and take Nebraska money line in that final game, right? So I at least get paid something, right? I mean, I think I have to. What do you guys think?
I mean, the smart bettor says to do that, but man, what's your heart say, TJ?
Yeah, what's your heart say? Can you really take Nebraska over Iowa?
Hedge. Hedge. Nebraska money line, 100%. Emmett Johnson might have a field day, dude.
Well, the way you might be right. And Emmett Johnson's the best running back in the Big Ten. But hey, TJ, I'm going to leave you with some advice. 1-800-BETS-OFF.
All right.
1-800-BETS-OFF.
Oh, hell no! Come on, aren't you guys sponsored by Prairie Meadows? Possibly.
He just gave you the verbal middle finger there.
He did.
Right?
He did.
Thanks, TJ. Thanks, TJ.
Appreciate it, man.
Can I? TJ,
Thanks, boys. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. TJ brought something else up there, and I inadvertently. Part of what stings for this is the Hawkeyes were up 14.
Yeah.
Part of what stings for this is that even if you want to say that the coaching staff didn't make any adjustments and they went into halftime and just kind of tried to stay status quo, part of why this one stings is because it felt like the Hawkeyes were going to win this game early on. We aren't used to seeing that. We aren't used to seeing the Hawkeyes be up 14 points in a game and then watch that lead slip away slowly, quickly, anyway. 5 years since that had happened. 5 years. And 14 points is not a lot of points.
Not with a team that can move the ball fast. Right?
And that's, I think, Travis, what we, again, to circle back to that conversation of this ain't your daddy's Big Ten. This ain't none of our daddy's Big Ten.
And
you
by
got
the way,
teams out there that can score the ball quickly. They don't mess around.
And they're old Big Ten teams too, right? I mean, Indiana can do it. We know Ohio State can do it. The elite teams can score when they have to score when the pressure's on. And that's and Iowa needs to be able to counter that. Lincoln Riley outcoached Kirk Ferentz in the second half. Outcoached.
Totally agree.
515. Oh, he hung up. I was going to take Jim from Des Moines, but he hung up right before I was getting ready to take him. 515-517-2303 is the number to call. It's good to be hanging out with you on a Saturday night.
Somebody said earlier, I need a Midol. I'm not exactly sure. I think those are for women that are on their
menstrual cramps.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If it would help me, send one to me.
It is the Black and Gold Rush, brought to you by and live from the Iowa Lottery Studios.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Bad gift giving. It happens to the best of us.
Thanks, I think.
But what if I told you there's a better way? Toss the silly socks and ditch the mediocre mugs, because the Iowa Lottery's gift that keeps on winning is here to save the holidays. Give your loved ones holiday scratch tickets with the chance to win instantly or unwrap your share of $1 million. Say no, no, no to boring presents with the Iowa Lottery this holiday season. Woohoo! Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
You like listening to Travis and Ross talk about the Hawkeyes, so tune in when they talk about everything else. Listen to The Rush with Travis and Ross every day on therushradio.com, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and wherever you get your sports content.
It is the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery Studios. Thank you for listening and watching us tonight. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and give the video a like and start leaving your comments in the comment section. And follow us on our social media channels. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Iowa loses to USC 26-21 in what was a disappointing second half for Iowa. I mean, we could sit here and brag on the first half, but it doesn't matter. We could say all the good things that they did in the first half, but it doesn't matter. And I think that's another one that hurts, Ross, why we're sitting here going, why does this one feel so bad? Because if we would have done a show at halftime, it would have been a glowing show. We would have been, look at this team. This is what we're talking about. We knew you were close against Oregon, and then you come out and put 30 minutes together. And I said this at halftime. I said, we got to remember it's a 60-minute game. It's not a 30-minute game. It's a 60-minute game. And that was a cruel reminder of a 60-minute game. It's just one of those things where you want to bang your head against the wall. I'm not giving up on Iowa. I've been an Iowa fan all my life, But I will say this, Ross. I got to stop taking the bait. I got to stop taking the bait, meaning getting sucked into a game like we did last week against Oregon. We're like, okay.
Getting your hope up.
Until they beat a ranked team, I'm just going to say, well, they beat somebody that's not ranked. Show me something to where you can beat a ranked team, show you belong. And it was good, and it was great that they were ranked, but maybe they shouldn't have been ranked. They hadn't beaten a ranked team.
Is it 13 in a row?
It's 11 in a row.
11 in a row against ranked teams?
11 in a row against ranked teams.
I mean, Travis, they should have been ranked. The Hawkeyes had a resume that was worthy of being a top 25 team. They absolutely did. They deserved that because, and if Iowa State had lived up to their expectations as well, if Iowa State wouldn't have crapped the bed halfway through the season there, you'd really still be in that conversation of like, well, they've only lost to ranked teams and they've lost every game by one possession. They can't get it done. Ryan says 13 as well. For some reason, I was thinking it was 13. Maybe, but either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't beat a ranked team. And by the way, again, to the first point, this new Big Ten, you're not going to be able to skate through the season. You're not going to have the dice roll your way where you only have to play the Minnesotas and Purdue's and Northwesterns of the world. Nope. There's going to be big dogs looming. They're waiting at the end of the chain, and you got to walk into their yard. And you got to know how to handle that. And the Hawkeyes right now don't. They just don't have, I don't know, the stuff. Whether it's the players, the coaches, they just don't have the stuff right now to do what needs to be done against ranked teams. And that's what sucks. It is that feeling of mediocrity that's setting in tonight.
That's a good way to put it. It's like you're just okay. You're not great. And the truth is, in today's college football world, it's the playoff or it's bust. A bowl game is a consolation prize. It's a ribbon for participation. That's all it is. We don't get excited about bowl games like we did 10, 15 years ago, and we shouldn't because they've lost their luster. If you want to go on a bowl trip and have a vacation, fine, have fun. But make sure you spend enough time to do the touristy things because the bowl game is you're going to go watch a bowl game. You're going to watch two teams that just play and get their congratulatory gifts and thanks for bringing people to town.
Last week was that hope and heartbreak thing. This week it's just disappointment. This week I just because I didn't have that hope. Even as the announcers earlier in the game were talking about the Hawkeyes and their chances of making the college football playoff, I'm like, what am I hearing here? That's not going to happen.
Yeah, just because you're in the top 25 doesn't mean you have a shot at making the college football playoff. You have to get in the top 10
this year. This year you've got to get in the top 10. You're going to have a group of 5 team. Most years you're going to have to get in the top 10. ACC is going to get a team in. Group of 5 is going to get a team in. Notre Dame's going to be there. Notre Dame's probably going to be a top 10 team still at the end of the year. You got to be a top 10 team in the college football playoff rankings. And even with a win over, what was USC, 19 in the college football playoffs?
I believe so, yeah.
You weren't going to move up there. Now, you beat this team by 35. It might have put you in the top 15, and then there would have been a conversation. But that, of course, didn't happen. Mike wrote in and said, moral victories, right, Ross? Man, Mike, I said last week there couldn't be moral victories, and I felt like Oregon was. I really did, because it gave me a little bit of hope and hype for this game.
Hope's a dangerous thing, Ross. You tell me that all the time.
I know, and I said it over. Well, that's the Shawshank Redemption. That's the thing that I think is also stinging today, is that it's not just today's hope that I got kicked in the jibs with. It's that hope that I allowed myself to start to build last week when I saw them play really well against Oregon at home.
515-517-2303. Let's go to John. John, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on, John?
Not a lot. Just heading home from the in-laws' house. Watched the game over there. Like the defense has been talked a lot about the last 2 weeks. They need to make more plays today. I can't disagree with that. That quarterback threaded the ball right where it needed to be a lot of times.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with the D-backs. A lot of times they have good position, and I feel like they don't turn around and look for the ball very often, and a lot of times that leads to the receiver bringing down the catch. But, they gave up 26 points to USC on the road.
You score one touchdown in the second half, you probably win that ball game. Give up 18 points to Oregon at home, you should probably be able to win a game when you give up 18 points.
Yeah.
I want to bring up something I feel like nobody's talked about all season. I don't know if it's, I love having Mark Gronowski on the team. The offense is a lot more fun to watch. It's watchable. He's a winner. He's a leader. I'm glad he's on the team and he's our starting quarterback, but he's played 65 ball games. I know this is a bigger competition than what he was used to, but there's no excuse for the open receivers he misses. Those could be game changers. He misses 3 or 4 guys. I can't remember who it was coming across. I think it was Weegan.
It was Weegan.
Some yards.
Threw it at his ankles.
It's just right in the dirt.
He 3 times had balls to Weegan. He 3 times, John, had balls to Weegan that he just didn't get rid of at the right time. The one was, earlier in the game, and I'm drawing the blank, Travis, on the specifics of it, but it ended up being thrown into traffic, and the USC defender was able to get it right. Weegan had to come back for it. That last ball, the one that Weegan ends up on the sideline and his toe touches the white line. We saw him. You saw him pump fake once. And again, he had a defender in his face there, so I can't fault him too much. But he kind of pump fakes that one time, and then by the time he gets rid of it, Weegan's too far, moving too far east and west to be able to make that catch in bounds. And then the one that landed at his feet, which was tough.
Well, and the one that got picked off, Vanderzee's wide open on that little curl, and he throws it, or no, it might have been to Gill, but he threw it late, and then the defender was able to get over there. It was sitting there wide open, and I get it. I'm not a quarterback and all that, but a guy that's played 65 games, those are just big plays. And when you give up 18 points or 26 points, those 3 or 4 open receivers you throw in the dirt, that could be the ball game there, in my opinion. I think we're putting a little too much on the defense, but I'm glad he's our quarterback, but you got some of those throws after 65 starts.
John, I agree with everything that you've said here. The defense has not been great, but the defense, we've been hard on the defense because we've expected so much from them. We've relied so much on the defense to be the unit that makes the plays or the unit that comes up with the big stop, and they just haven't been able to do that these last couple games. You're absolutely right. Holding Oregon to 18 points, you should win that game. Holding, and the listener earlier who was talking about, hey, guys, look at how USC, look at what they've done to other teams in the Big Ten. Look at what they've done to other teams all season long. They're averaging 500 yards and 40 points a game, and this Hawkeye defense held them far below their season averages. Those are all things that have to be a part of that conversation when we're saying, the defense just isn't making the plays when we need them. But the fact is the defense isn't making the plays when you need them. Gronowski is a fantastic quarterback. It's just not enough.
Well, I mean, let's use USC as an example. Yeah, they average a bunch, but that's when they're beating up on really bad teams. They go to Nebraska. I think they only had 370 yards offense. They only had 20 points. They still won the game. They play Iowa. They have 360 yards and score 26 points. They still win the game. They find a way to win the game, even if they're not performing where they're supposed to be. So you can say, well, the Iowa defense did a good job, but the offense in the first half did enough, but did not do enough to win the game.
Let me summarize it. The team wasn't as good as USC.
Yes. It's a good way to say it.
Right.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it, man.
Can I bring up one more thing?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
It was something you kind of touched on earlier in the show. Everybody talking about all the 10-win seasons and stuff, and I'm tired of beating Northwestern and that trash team just to the west and Minnesota, and then getting slapped by big dogs. They've been a lot closer this year, obviously, so they're getting closer. But I just think if we can find a quarterback to make a few more big plays, I think we're going to be right there. So,
man, I love the way you said that. It doesn't matter that you can beat the neighboring teams anymore. Beating Illinois, Minnesota, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Northwestern, none of that matters anymore. I mean, truthfully, those are the things that now.
Beat them, but
yeah, I'm glad that we lose. I'm glad that we beat them rather than lose to them. And I don't want that day to come when we're on the air here going, oh my God, we lost to those teams again. Because if you're losing to those teams,
Right.
these West Coast teams are going to thump you. Then it'll feel like you're out of your
we
league
just
playing
need
in the
to
Big
get
Ten.
Big wins under the belt. Yeah, I missed the 8 and 4 days a little bit when I felt like we had a chance to go anywhere and beat anybody.
And that's part of what
I
I'm
might take those days back.
John, I let myself last week believe that this Hawkeye team was in that category. I really did. I let myself believe last week, man, Indiana's undefeated. And we were a minute 50 from beating them. Oregon is really good, and we were so close to beating them. We can play with anybody. You get up today. You let that hope machine fire up again. You go, all right, here we go. We're going to show these California teams what Iowa and Big Ten football is all about. And then it comes down, and the second half is the second half. I mean, you just got outplayed in every aspect of the game in the second half.
John, thanks for the phone call, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
515-517-2303. Let's go back to the phones. Who's this? Welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
Hey, you got me?
Yep. Who is this?
Oh, we're on. All right, this is Ben and Evan. We're sitting here in central Iowa, enjoying another Iowa loss. But, man, it's okay. I love listening to you guys. Travis, I'm smoking a Buffalo Trace cigar and enjoying some Woodford Reserve.
Wow.
Right now. And, man.
Buffalo Trace makes a cigar, Ross.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Buffalo Trace makes cigars. Okay. You know, if you can add another profit or if you can add another revenue stream, why not do it? So,
right. Bourbon and cigars go well together.
You guys are, so entertaining. I've listened to you guys forever. You rock.
Oh, that bourbon's setting in. That bourbon is setting in.
It is. Hey, we're sitting out here in front of a fire. The Bush family owns the ground around us out here in greater rural Iowa.
Okay.
It's wonderful. So
you pinpointed it. I think we know where you're at. Greater rural Iowa. We all know where you're at.
Yes. No, I just wanted to say I'm so glad you guys are on this format. Love the interviews, longtime listeners, and just huge fans. So that's all. Even diehard Cyclone fans and season ticket holders, and I still tune in and listen to you guys.
Well, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
I should have known when you said enjoying this Hawkeye loss. I should have known. We should have hung up on you then.
Yeah. But it just hurts to see. I mean, man, waste your offense. You guys, they gotta get some offense rolling. They gotta roll the offense. They waste the defense and the special teams, all the talent in the world. I love seeing the rural Iowa guys succeed and then just one phase not carry through. And like you said, you lose to. I'm Sky Yuma all the way too, and I love the pig, but it's you gotta all three phases of the game. You gotta win it. So I'll leave you with that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Is there Buffalo Trace cigars? Are they normal cigars or are
they put the logo on the wrap and it might be soaked wrapper, but that's
in bourbon.
Yeah, in bourbon.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, because the way he was talking, I thought, wait a minute.
That Woodford Reserve, that Woodford Reserve has kicked him in. I'm surprised there are not more Iowa fans that are hammered after watching that game today. I mean, it's just, so you got 2 games left. How do you feel? I mean, I'm kind of numb right now because it's now you're sitting there at 6-4. You're going, it's just an average season, and even if you beat Michigan State, who cares? I guess it comes down to the Nebraska game.
I mean, I don't know. The Michigan State and Nebraska games to me are one and the same. And you asked me how I feel about these last 2 games. Man, I'm unenthralled. I'm not excited about them. I know that we're playing. Well, listen. I'm a Hawkeye fan, man, and I know what's going to happen next Saturday. I'm going to be jacked up about the Hawkeyes beating Michigan State, and that's going to be a fun day, and I do think the Hawkeyes will beat Michigan State. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to be jacked up for a Black Friday game with Nebraska, and it's going to really mean something to me leading up to that game that week. I'm going to really want the Hawkeyes to win. Right now, how do I feel about those two games? I don't care about them. They've lost that luster. They've lost that meaning. They've lost the power that I was hoping these games are going to have. And that hope that I had early in the season, that hope that I had last week is gone. The hope that I had again, little hope for that big picture earlier today. But that's gone too. I'm a Hawkeye fan, and I'm going to hope to God that the Hawkeyes go out and dominate against Sparty and dominate against the Huskers, and it'll be a lot more fun to come here and chat with you if the Hawkeyes do those two things. What happens if they don't? What's truly lost? What's at stake? For me as a fan, not a lot. Not a lot. That little point of pride that I get, these Saturday afternoons and a Friday afternoon that are more fun if the Hawkeyes win, and they kind of stink when the Hawkeyes lose. That's what it is. But the big stuff, it's gone. Today, when early in the season, it's a lot of fun to have this conversation. It's a lot of fun an hour into the show for somebody to go, all right, what comes next? Let's look ahead. It's usually one of our buddy Rob, who's the first one that fires that away. Hey, what does this mean about the season going forward? And you start to go game by game and go, well, shit, if they just beat this team, if they just lost to Indiana this close, and if Indiana's who we think they are, I think Penn State.
And I think why the hope is gone is because this is our last chance to play a ranked team, right? I mean, and you went 0-4 this year against ranked teams. You lost to Iowa State when it was ranked. You lost to Indiana. You lost to Oregon. You lost to USC. You don't have a chance to gain that. I don't want to say respectability, but you don't have that chance to say, hey, we belong here. Today was that last chance. Now you're just going, okay, you got two unranked teams left, and it doesn't matter. You want to beat teams of substance. 515-517-2303. Let's go to Altoona. That's where Jeff is. Jeff, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
Hey, guys. So I've listened to both sides of the argument, and I agree with both things. But I think with strength of schedule, we still need to play some, cupcakes and some ranked teams. Like, how cool would it be to play like an Alabama or some? I'm not saying that would ever happen, but let's bring them to Kinnick. Let's do a home and home. Let's do some of those games that some of the other Big Ten teams do or the SEC teams do. Let's show out. Let's get some money going.
Wisconsin did it. If Iowa ever got to the point where they can beat ranked teams, I might feel better about it. But at this point, you're like, okay, you need some wins. Is a loss early on? If you're a really good team, a loss early on isn't going to hurt you. Now, Alabama got beat tonight by Oklahoma. That's an upset. But Alabama lost early to Florida State. We thought, that's going to knock them out. Didn't. They got back into the top 4, top 5. They'll fall after losing to Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost some early games. Oklahoma's going to be back in the mix. But they're in a different league right now than what Iowa is. If Iowa ever gets to the point where it is, a perennial top 10 team or a program, then you can almost justify it and say, hey, those losses aren't going to hurt you if you do lose. Right now, Iowa's not there. It needs every win that it can get just to become justifiable because it's going to play 3, 4, maybe 5 ranked teams a year during the Big Ten.
So, and I'm not sure which side of it. I'm with Jeff. I like how you said it. Like, I've listened to both sides of the argument. I have two, and I don't know which one I want to. If you made me decide, Jeff, I don't know. Right now, I would say play the cream puffs.
Well, you said that earlier in the week. You said it earlier in the week.
Cream puffs, and then play Iowa State. Make Iowa State that because I really like the Iowa State game. And if you can't beat Iowa State, then So I don't know how I would feel.
Iowa State.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about, because we had a listener call in a couple weeks ago that said one of the problems is you got to have steel sharpen steel. You got to play these better games early in the season. That way you're not shocked when Oregon comes to town or when you're playing USC. You're not blown away by that speed because you've played a team like that already in the non-con. And by the way, if you're going to be a college football playoff team, you're going to have to win that game anyway.
Exactly.
Can I share? Jeff, thanks a lot for the comment. I wish I could answer your question more. I'm glad that I don't have to. I'm glad I'm not Beth Getz. I'm glad I'm not in that athletic department and have to sit down and decide. My biggest fear would be this.
Thanks, Jeff.
that we say.
Can I
fire away? Yeah, go ahead.
I hung up on him.
Crap,
Sorry.
Jeff. If you need to call back, and I'm going to make a couple points while you're calling back if you want. What would really piss me off as a Hawkeye fan is if we said, all right, we're going to schedule a Power 5 team. We're going to make sure it's a Power 5 team that comes in here non-con, and it's not going to be Iowa State because of whatever reasons, whatever. And then all of a sudden you're playing a home and away with some bottom-tier ACC or SEC team, right? I know South Carolina gave a hell of a scare, but I don't want to see that. I'd much rather see Iowa State on the schedule than I'm trying to think of Virginia. That does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. I'd rather see Iowa State than that, and that would be my fear. It's not going to be Alabama. You're not going to get Texas A&M to come and do a home-and-home with the Hawkeyes. I don't think. I don't think. Maybe. If you got something like that, that'd be great. I'm with most Hawkeye fans when I go, you're getting Alabama to come to Kinnick.
Well, they got him to go to Camp Randall. I mean, but you got to be willing to do the home and home, and because these SEC schools are going to be forced now with their 9-game schedule. It's being mandated that they got to go play Big Ten teams. They got to go play Big 12 teams, which is good.
So, do you want the Hawks to jump into that and do that, Trav?
Yeah, kind of. I don't mind one. I don't mind playing a New Albany, but I'd rather see them. But I don't want the Iowa State game to go away. I want Iowa State. And I want another big game, and then give me a New Albany to at least get a win out of there.
Forgot about New Albany. Can I share one more thing, and just before we go back to the phone calls here, real quick?
Yeah, because Jeff called back. So
okay,
go ahead.
Jeff, this is the other thing I wanted to share because this is a comment from. I love this. I love it when we hear from people that have a 10,000-yard view. They aren't Hawkeye fans. They're not seeing things through the black and gold glasses because we as fans do get blinded by that. So I love comments like this. I'm a Husker fan. Listening to this show sounds like the Huskers during the Frost years, saying, hey, we're the best 4-win team. Close losses, so close. But from the outside looking in, you are getting exactly what you are built to do. And again, I know that's a Husker fan, and instantly we play politics and we go, oh, you didn't vote for my guy? Well, then your opinion doesn't matter. But listen to that. What he's saying there is, man, this reminds me of those Husker teams that were sucky. And we tried to make the excuses for how they weren't as sucky as they were. That's what I'm hearing.
Because he's actually being a little self-deprecating there.
I think so too. Yeah. I think I'm glad that's a really good comment to say, hey man, I've heard this show before. I've heard this show before. This is what happens when your team isn't as good as you hoped it would be, and you're grasping at the stuff.
Jeff, welcome back. What were you going to leave us with?
So I just wanted to say, just from a financial standpoint, like how cool would it be to have Texas come to Kinnick? I mean, I'm not saying maybe it's not Alabama, but one of those, second-tier teams. Like, how cool would that be from a financial standpoint and just from a fan standpoint to have a big top 10 team come into Kinnick and play a home and home every other year?
It would be great. Now, let me ask you this, though, Jeff. Would it be worth losing a home game for?
I think so, because is it not worth winning a home game, too?
I guess when I'm looking at it from the because when Beth decides to make this decision, it's going to be a financial decision that's made.
Because these guys want 6 home games. They want 6 home games. They got it. That's where it becomes that's what the financial situation is. You all right there, Ross?
Yeah, I just heard some really weird yelling outside of my house, dude.
Really? Well, the gaming community, hope everything's okay. So
don't worry about it. Eli's going to check it out. We're good.
Said the 16-year-old. Why don't you go check it out? That's like me with my wife. Honey, you go look at the front door. Why would I go look at the front door? Jeff, thanks for the phone call, man. Appreciate it. 515-517-2303. Let's go to Brent. Brent's a smart dude.
We like Brent calls.
We like Brent calls.
Tell
Brent,
us
what's
what we
going
need
on?
to know, Brent.
Yeah, I think I probably the conversation is I kind of find it humorous. I mean, we don't even know who we are half the time. We think Texas is going to come in here. Yeah, right. That's not Alabama. They're not coming in here to Iowa City. They're not going to do that. You have to be up at a much higher. So it's just not.
This idea, man, everyone says they want this great non-conference team until they lose. And then everyone's like, well, what do we, they're going to be complaining about the number of losses we have after that. Well, we lose 3 games, 4 games, 5 games. They're going to complain about losses. It's a bitter loss. But it wasn't an unexpected loss.
Brent, that's the reason.
We were going to go out to USC and win tonight.
That's the reason that people want to get rid of the Iowa State game, is because people go, well, what, we lose to Iowa State and then it affects the season so poorly. You're nailing it. You bring in an SEC team, you're only increasing those chances that something like that's going to happen. I think you're nailing it.
But here's where he's really right, and this is what hurts. Did you hear what he just said? Is that Texas and Alabama wouldn't come here because it's not a big enough game yet. When Alabama scheduled Wisconsin in a home-and-home,
big game.
They did that when Wisconsin was really good.
Yeah.
And because you do that 8 to 10 years out, so you go, hey, yeah, that's going to be one that you're going to do. Brent, that's what you just said hurts because you're like, you're not big enough to put on our schedule yet. That hurts.
Yeah. It does hurt, and the thing is, you just have to look at, and Ross, I know you disagree with me, but it's money. What if we had $3 to $4 million to spend on the football team that came from NIL, not from the $20 million, because everybody's going to have that, but an extra $3 or $4 million bucks. That's how many more good players that we would have put out there tonight.
Well, I can
or against Oregon.
I have it on good authority, Brent, that Mendoza, who's at Indiana, Iowa was one of the. He was seriously considering Iowa. But there wasn't enough money in the kitty to bring him in.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, it's just, we don't know who we are. And look, I don't mean that. I'm a huge Hawkeye fan. I love Hawks. I think we have success, but we always think we're better than we are as a program.
You're nailing
that's the problem.
I love that comment, Brent. We don't know who we are, because you can apply that to 100 things.
It doesn't mean we can't have great seasons. It doesn't mean we can't have great seasons. It doesn't mean that we won't upset some great teams. But to do it consistently year after year, like in Ohio State, you name it, some of these big brands, you're just not going to be there. I hate to say it, unless we have a bunch of money. That's the elixir. Yeah, we get a new coach too. Yeah, sure, we could do that. But you got to have the money for the new coach. First thing he's getting $12 million a year now. Our guy's only getting $7 million. I mean, that's why they're all of a sudden good after 50 years of being one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. It's that's for who you're facing on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis.
Brent, I think listen, man. I can't keep pushing back on this. You're right, dude. The money matters. The money really matters, and you got to have the right people in place. But you sometimes with some of these players, because we've even had people call in and say, "Man, are the players good enough? Are the players good enough for us to be hyping this team up like that?" If in this day and age, if you want to do that, lots of money.
Didn't we see that tonight with the USC receivers? I mean, how many catches we were all over the receiver and they were just a little taller? I mean, like 3 to 5 inches, right?
And that's what I said earlier. It's funny you say that, Brent, because I brought that up in the first half hour. I said, they played decent defense, but when you have a little bit more speed and you're about 3 or 4 inches taller and you're athletic as hell, that makes all the difference.
Yeah. Again, I love the Hawks. It doesn't mean we can't do great things at times. I'm just saying we have to understand who we are, though. And until we do that, there's going to be a lot of frustrated people.
Man, that hurts, but it's so true.
Brent always brings the truth.
Yeah. Thanks, Brent.
As much as it might hurt, he brings the truth. He's making you swallow that syrup, that cough medicine. Hey, you know what's good for you? This thing you don't like. This thing you don't like to taste. Eat it.
515-517-2303. Let's go back to the phones. Who's this? Welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios.
Hey, this is Doug calling in. Appreciate your show, Ross and Travis.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed it all year. Thank you. Couple things. I think that obviously the offense is better, but it needs to take another step. When you play teams like USC, hard to beat them when you only score 21 points. I mean, it just is. And I think we need help at wide receiver. We still lack in that area. And frankly, USC was better in 2 areas, quarterback and wide receivers. I thought the Hawks did a good job first half, but just couldn't hold on. So hopefully end the season, win the last 2, and, go to a bowl game. But I'd like to see them develop more wide receivers. I mean, I think Reese Anderson could be a wide receiver, very good, but man, if I were him, I'd just have to think about transferring after. I mean, does he like catching one ball a game? I don't know. You know, the wide receivers have that big ego. So anyway, enjoy the show, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look at that. If you want to talk about one room that has had the most turnover since the transfer portal became a prevalent part of our college football fandom, it's been the wide receivers room. I mean, we've seen some talented guys come into that room and be gone. Be gone. A year or two into it, be gone. Who was the kid that was from Omaha, Travis? I can't remember his name now.
Johnson.
Yeah. He was,
but you know what? He went to Kansas State, didn't amount to anything.
Didn't amount, so maybe there was something else happening there, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We've seen talented guys that come in. They decide that wide receiver room and this offense ain't the right one for them. That's something.
Got a couple people on hold. Stay right there. We're going to get to your phone calls. We're going to take a minute timeout. Be back with the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery Studios.
Bad gift giving. It happens to the best of us.
Thanks, I think.
But what if I told you there's a better way? Toss the silly socks and ditch the mediocre mugs, because the Iowa Lottery's gift that keeps on winning is here to save the holidays. Give your loved ones holiday scratch tickets with a chance to win instantly or unwrap your share of $1 million. Say no, no, no to boring presents with the Iowa Lottery this holiday season. Woohoo! Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
My name's Gary Presnell, and I'm a residential home mortgage banker for Northwest Bank and Des Moines Metro Market. I've been financing people's homes for over 25 years, and I'm an expert in financing VA loans, FHA loans, IFA loans, and new construction homes. This is my cat Norm. Norm knows football, but he doesn't know mortgage, and that's where I come in. There are a lot of Tom, Dick, and Norms out there doing loans. So don't just trust anyone with your home loan. I'm your local, trusted, experienced expert.
Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You like listening to Travis and Ross talk about the Hawkeyes, so tune in when they talk about everything else. Listen to The Rush with Travis and Ross every day on therushradio.com, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and wherever you get your sports content.
Okay, I know we've been talking about the Iowa Blackout promotion for a while from the Iowa Lottery. Yes, that's ended, and the lucky lottery winners are headed to Kinnick Stadium. Lucky them, but the all-new Iowa Lottery Blackout Scratch Ticket is still available at retailers across the state. Get the Iowa Blackout Scratch Ticket at Iowa Lottery retailers right now, because there are still plenty of opportunities to win that $50,000 top prize. You could be the next winner and snag season tickets for next year with that kind of money from the Iowa Lottery. 515-517-2303. Let's go back to the phones. Who's this? Welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
It's Jim. Hey, I got a question for Ross, and I got a question for Travis before I get to my point. Can I ask you guys questions?
Sure, Jim.
We'll see how these go, Jim.
Okay, Travis, how old is the grandson oh, you have granddaughters. How old is your granddaughter?
4 months old or 3 months old.
Okay, and Ross, you're the
3.
single dad. When does Big Girls Gold Mine open? Because I'm on the north side of Des Moines. When does it open? Because you're a single.
I don't know that.
Because I know why you go there, because you can't get any loving. So when does Big Girls open?
I assume it's open. I mean, I would hope it's open.
I went by it and it was closed. I thought you would know because you're the single dad.
No,
I wouldn't know, dude.
He's got plenty of love right now.
Yeah,
he's getting plenty of loving.
And how many other teams in America is 4 inches or 3 inches away of going 8-2? Have you guys ever seen Iowa being that close to going 8-2?
I mean, there's a lot of close plays.
4 inches. Against Oregon, 4 inches. He had the knee, foot down, and they got 21 today. He knocked him out. It looked like his foot touched. If they played in the NFL, they would have gave it to him, because you see the back heel touch before his foot, the front foot hit. I seen that against the Minnesota Vikings against the Chiefs. And, of course, they gave it to the Chiefs because
All right,
What
Jim.
do you guys think about that play?
No, I thought he was out of bounds. I really did. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it.
As soon as they showed the replay, in the replay you see his toe is out of bounds, and can you freeze frame it? And when his toe very first comes down, is it in bounds? I think that there's a little argument there, but his foot slides into the out of bounds. But as it's coming down, I just don't see how that play is going to be called. Maybe if it's called to catch in the moment. Maybe if it's called to catch on the field and they have to try to overturn it. But I felt like he was obviously out of bounds. I don't think it comes down to that. I don't think it comes down to the officials missing a face mask call. I think it comes down to the Hawkeyes not playing good in the second half. I think it comes down to Kirk Ferentz getting out-coached by Lincoln Riley from halftime to the end of that game. That's what I think it comes down to.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Pat in Iowa City. Pat, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios.
Calling with a bit of disappointment, but I'm calling to defend hope.
I like it.
Hope is one of the most sustaining qualities of life, let alone football. And a lot of what I'm going to say probably reflects the hope that's gotten some denigration tonight. First of all, the discussion of playing a major team like Alabama is a waste of breath. We need 7 home games. And the only way we're going to get to somebody like Alabama or Oklahoma home and away is to end the Iowa State home and away, which I don't want to do, and I think most Iowans want to see that game stay. Our defensive backs have been suspect now on the pass game for a couple of years, and they were again tonight, although the truth is Southern Cal has some great athletes at wide receiver, which we don't have and haven't had for quite a while. Our forte and reputation is as a running offense, and talented receivers are reluctant to come here because we don't throw the ball enough. One of the other things that's been missing this year, people made and bought and wore T-shirts saying punting is winning. And Torrey Taylor was a big positive aspect of our game the last couple of years. And Dakin, truthfully, has been a bit of a disappointment. His punts today were too short. Something's got to change there. And for one, and obviously this reflects some hope on my part, I think you guys are way too hard on Kirk. USC had much better athletes. And I think we generally punch above our weight, taking recruits that other schools don't offer and turning it into a very competitive team. And we were again today. We had an interception that led to a touchdown that was pretty much a fluke that bounced up and the guy grabbed it and they were in great field position. And while you're right about Weegan being out of bounds, it really was just by a toe, was an inch difference that would have given us the winning touchdown. So my message at the end is don't lose hope, for goodness sakes. That's what Iowa fans have, and that's what makes it such a joy to be an Iowa fan.
But Pat, would you agree that this team has got to beat a ranked team, because the hope starts to run dry when you start when you have the opportunities. And I'm not saying beat the number 1 ranked team in the country, beat the 19th ranked team in the country. And you've got to start winning games that matter. You're winning games now that don't matter in the grand scheme of things. We're in a different era of college football. And if this thing goes to 16 or 24 teams, the pressure is going to be even higher to get into that playoff because there's more for the taking. So you got to win games that matter, and they just haven't done it for a couple of years now.
I don't disagree with that. We're close, but we haven't gotten up over the hill. But beating the other teams does matter. It puts you in a position to challenge for Big Ten championships and the playoffs. And the truth is, we were in a position this year, as of the rankings last week that had us 21st, that gave us hope, and it gave us the possibility that even if we didn't make the playoff, we were going to end up being 13th, 14th, 15th. And one of the things I disagree with you on, I think bowl games do matter. I think they're a very important pride element. They give you extra workouts and extra training that helps improve your younger players for the next year. So I think they do play a role. The role certainly has changed over what it was before the playoffs.
That's a fair comment.
I think they're still
Pat.
important.
That's a fair comment. That's a great call, Pat. I love your heart. I love your heart of. You're absolutely right about the hope thing. It's what makes sports fun. And Travis, we've talked about this a lot. That hope thing. It's dangerous, but man, it's fun. It's what we sign up for.
It's a drug.
That's the thing we sign up for. Now, what we hope for in that hope is that it comes to fruition. That's what we hope for. But I would push back on you, Pat, about the importance of the bowl games, because with the BCS, if you didn't make that top 4, you still had some things to play for. Now that we've expanded this playoff, and now that's the true postseason. These are exhibitions. I mean, they've been exhibitions for a long, long time. They've just been exhibition games. But now it's even more of a highlight shined on that. You're right. There are advantages to playing that exhibition game. You're going to get those practices. But there's so many of these exhibitions.
That got watered down.
Yeah, the only thing that you have to do to qualify for that extra bonus time is not be bad. Not be bad.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's, I think, what bothers me is that there's way too many of them. And that bonus that you used to get of having those extra practices and getting the team back together or keeping the team together for an extra month, it used to mean something, and it was a true reward for the end of the season. Now, if you don't get it, it's time to fire your coach. I mean, imagine if I know you say we're hard
in Iowa City.
No, that's true. Not Iowa City. That's a fair statement.
Pat, thanks for that call. That's
thanks,
a good one.
Pat.
I appreciate your heart.
Thanks
there
for listening,
more than
guys.
anything. Thank you, sir.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Stephen. Stephen, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on, Stephen?
Hey, what's up, boys?
How much?
Thank you again for another year of therapy.
Thank you
We're
for
here
saying
for it.
that, man. I got a really nice text earlier from a first-time listener who said that same thing. My friend Monique and her husband AD, they're listening, and she wrote to me and she said, hey, thanks so much. You guys are therapy because we were so pissed off, and you guys have broke it down perfectly. Thanks for telling us why it's okay to be pissed. The therapy thing is the thing Travis and I have appreciated about this show more than anything. You get to feel all the feels.
Yeah. Well, so I wouldn't say I'm not pissed off. I guess I just, never bride, always the bridesmaid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask, what were you guys about 10 minutes ago? And I know this comes up every now and then, the non-con schedule. What are people saying that Iowa should do with the non-con schedule? And I guess what is wrong? Because it used to be like, having Iowa State on the non-con schedule, some Hawkeye fans, which I'm a Hawkeye fan, it brings us down. Like, no, it doesn't. That's a true rivalry game for the last, 25, 30 years. It's been a legit coin toss kind of game. No matter, only been a couple of years, even when you might have a bad team, a bad Iowa State team and a good Iowa team, and the good Iowa team goes down at Iowa State early in the year.
Yeah.
So that game's got to stay no matter what. Anybody that says withdraw that game, I mean, it's the biggest event in the state every single year. It's bigger than the Iowa State Fair, in my opinion. Well, maybe not that big, but you know what I mean.
You know what's funny?
So what would be?
Here's the deal, Stephen.
Well, hold on. So what's wrong with this? What's wrong with you got Iowa State, you got one cupcake, and you got like a Pittsburgh, Virginia mid-level ACC team or something like that. What is wrong with that? I think that's perfect, especially if you're playing a 9-game conference schedule.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but it came up earlier, and Brent, I think, brought it up, is you got to have, and Pat did too, these athletic directors want 7 home games. I mean, you're talking over $1 million worth of profit per game, and the reason you schedule the cupcakes is because you got to have those 7 home games to justify your budget that seems to increase each and every year. Now, and I've changed my mind. I'm a waffler. I'd be bad in politics because they'd say you're a flip flopper. At the end of the day, I don't care what non-con you play because you got to win your games. You got to win your games that matter. This was a game that matters. Oregon was a game that matters. Indiana was a game that matters. Iowa State was a game that matters. If you don't win those, it doesn't matter who you play in the non-con. You got to beat teams that are going to put you on the map, and you got to beat ranked teams. Iowa can't beat a ranked team right now, so they could play. They could play 3 New Albany's. It doesn't matter if you don't beat the teams you're supposed to play.
Right. And in the Big Ten again,
that's what I was saying. Is like, why are we even talking about this non-con crap?
Yep.
That's the whole reason. I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Like,
Stephen,
why?
Let me. So first of all, you asked about where fans are. We're all over the place, man. You can find fans in every aspect of this non-con conversation. Let me ask you a very specific one, because you brought up like Pitt or Virginia. What if I told you could have those non-conference games, but you have to get rid of Iowa State? Because in my gut tells me that's the real conversation that's going to happen. It's not going to be, should we get rid of the New Albany's and bring in a Pitt? Yeah, I think you keep Iowa State as well.
Yeah, you got to keep Iowa State, absolutely.
Because let's say
anyway.
This. I mean, and thanks, Stephen. We appreciate the phone call. Because to go to the playoffs, sure, that we might see a year when a 3-loss team gets an at-large bid, but for the most part, you're going to have to probably go 10-2 to go in. So if you go unbeaten in the non-con and you lose to an Ohio State and you lose to a Penn State, it's probably that may not hurt you,
or a
right?
Michigan,
or a
Michigan,
UCLA,
or a USC, or an Oregon, or a. I mean, again, it ain't your daddy's Big Ten no more.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Justin. Justin, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? I was just going to mention, every game matters. If you beat Oregon and Indiana but lose to Minnesota and Wisconsin or Penn State, nothing matters anyway, right? I mean, the college football playoff doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Yeah,
every game matters. And quite frankly, I think the Hawkeyes have been playing pretty darn well this year. There has been hope. Years past, in the not too distant past, we have had no hope offensively. And here in these last few games, or this year at the very least, we've had hope with every game. So that's all I got to say. Go Hawks.
Thanks, Justin.
Love what Pat. I still have Pat's words echoing through my head. Like, we're being too hard on hope. Sometimes it's all
because it stings right now. This is a reaction show, and it's an immediate reaction show.
It's a therapy, Travis. This is what we do. We emote. We come on the air. We emote. We tell people exactly how we're feeling in that moment. And, dude, I'll tell you, I'm feeling way different right now than I was 2 hours ago when we started the program. Not way different. I'm not nearly as angry. I'm smiling again. Vein in my forehead has gone away. Maybe the Midol kicked in. Not sure what exactly I'm dealing with here, but I think that maybe it's Pat's conversation. Hey, I want to call and defend hope a little bit. Sometimes it's all we got.
I mean, because Ross started the show pissed off, and this is a day after he caught like 84 fish and had the fishing day of his life.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, because I'm going to have to get out of here pretty soon, but dude. And the funny thing is, folks, because I want to leave everybody in a good mood. If you listen to the Rush Radio Show, which you can do every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m., Ross is like, I ain't no bobber fisher. I'm not going to be a bobber fisher. Who wants to go bobbing fishing? I get a text yesterday. He goes, dude, don't ever let me rip on bobber fishing ever again. I just had the greatest day of my life.
It was the greatest day of Iowa fishing I've ever had. It was legitimately the only time I've ever caught fish like that was up in Canada and slaying. David says, you're over the limit. We weren't. We Googled it several times to make sure we weren't, David. That's how much we were catching fish. Was we pulled in well over 100 perch yesterday in a span of about 3 hours. And 3 hours was long. Yep. We were using a slip bobber Timmy T-box. That's exactly what it was. Now, I will tell you, Trav, I caught the first one in the group not using a bobber. So it was not having the bobber that led us to the fish. I pulled in the first perch, and then my buddy Zach threw his slip bobber in, and it was on. It was just red hot fishing. And here was what was funny, man. We ended up bringing home 84 perch out of 4 guys. 25 per person is the limit. And so we were still short of our limit by 16, which is, again, just incredible that we had this day. And
surprised you didn't go, hey, let's go another hour and get to our.
That was what Zach. We really were going to do that, Travis. The fishing had cooled off by that point, and really, what we had done, because we were Googling, and I'm not even joking about this. It sounds like I'm making it up. We were trying to Google it and catching fish so fast that we couldn't even get. It was like, hey Google, can you? Oh crap, fish on. Hey Google, what's the bag limit? Oh, fish on. I couldn't crack a beer, dude. I had a beer in a koozie sitting on the edge of the boat, and it was there for like an hour. And Bensy was like, dude, are you ever going to drink that beer? I'm like, I don't have time. We're catching fish.
I'm fishing here.
Caught well over 100 in under 3 hours. Brought home 84. Filleted them all last night. Having a big Friendsgiving tomorrow with a bunch of buddies. So we're going to feed all the people. And
do me a favor. Don't talk Hawkeye football tomorrow. Because you'll just talk about the fishing experience, and that'll put you in a good mood, and you'll be ready to go Monday morning on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive at 6 a.m. Well, you're right. I feel much different than I did 2 hours ago, so that's good. We want to thank the Iowa Lottery for helping us be in our studios.
Helping us with this therapy session.
That's right.
Yeah.
The replay will be on YouTube. The replay on the podcast is going to be up a little bit late tonight because I have to go somewhere right now, but I'll get it up by midnight tonight. I promise that. And don't forget, Ross and I will be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. with the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Bad gift giving. It happens to the best of us.
Thanks, I think.
But what if I told you there's a better way? Toss the silly socks and ditch the mediocre mugs, because the Iowa Lottery's gift that keeps on winning is here to save the holidays. Give your loved ones holiday scratch tickets with a chance to win instantly or unwrap your share of $1 million. Say no to boring presents with the Iowa Lottery this holiday season. Woohoo! Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
You like listening to Travis and Ross talk about the Hawkeyes, so tune in when they talk about everything else. Listen to The Rush with Travis and Ross every day on the rushradio.com, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and wherever you get your sports content.